Today on Sky, it's spring racing at its very best. On the greatest day of racing, AAMI Derby Day. 3 prestigious Group 1 races include the AAMI Victoria Derby, the Salinger Stakes, and the Mackinnon Stakes. Spring racing doesn't get any better than this. Don't miss a second of it. Today, live at your local Sky Channel Pub or Club.
Mizzou, Salgado and Tarcoola Midnight, 2, 6, 7 and 9 for our ratings, and they've made Zip Zip Array a special. Here's the market. Zip Zip Array's at $4.90, Palladium Star's well in commission, and so is Salgado number 7. So 2, 3, 7, all vying for favouritism for the first. And that first race is the Yallambee Stud Stakes over 1,400 metres. It's coming up in 10, more on that one shortly. And just the trainer of Karamazoo, number 6 in the first race coming up.
Peter, the ever-consistent Karamazoo lines up in the opening event today. What are your thoughts with him?
He's had a long preparation, raced well and raced consistently. His last couple he's just sort of lacked a little bit of luck, so he's amongst his own today. He's fitting well. No superstar, but what he lacks in ability makes up for in courage. That gives him his chance amongst this type of horse, I suppose.
Yeah, you're certainly right. And, well, I must admit, I guarantee the smile hasn't left your face since you heard the scratching of Platinum Scissors. You've got Ain't Here and General Minolta in the AAMI Derby today. Yeah, well, it wouldn't worry it if I had only 2 runners in the race, to be honest. So, you know, disappointing for Connections, obviously a nice horse, but, you know, it probably takes away from the race somewhat, but, you know, adds to my chances. Ain't Here's run behind him here the other day. I think he's beaten a head-to-head behind Platinum Scissors, and that probably made us think he was the horse to beat in the race. So, you know, gives him a nice chance in the race, and General Minolta's fit well and healthy. His form's been consistent. His last 2 runs over the 1.25 miles, and, you know, on the day there'll be none better prepared than my 2, I feel. No, I concur with that for sure. And, Peter, you line up with Strategic Image in the Salinger today. Boy, he's really racing well, and I didn't think he had a lot of luck last start down the straight.
No, in the Gilgai, the top weight, there was strange weight conditions that day, and just got nutted on the line. And, you know, we just hope we've drawn the right side of the track today. We've got the outside alley, so if it favours horses down that side, it's certainly going to give us our chance to win a good race with him.
I think it just might. Mate, have a great day.
All the best, Alf.
There he is, Peter Moody, and he lines up Derby Day with a couple of genuine contenders.
He's starting us off with Karamazoo. It's about a $9 chance, and runners are on the track and heading around to the barrier for the first. This is the Group 3 Yallambee Stud Stakes of 1,400. It's a $150,000 race. Every event at Flemington today, all 9 of them, are either Group 1, 2 or 3, with 3 Group 1s, the Mackinnon, the Salinger and the VRC Derby. And, of course, Pete won the Derby last year, Peter Moody, with Amalfi, ridden by Damien Oliver. Might do it again today. Let's join Alf Matthews for the late mail on race 1.
Thanks very much, Matt, and good afternoon.
Now, Zip Zip Array has firmed to 4.30 on the Super Tab, equal favourite with Salgado, and Palladium Star is at $4.70. So they've been the 3 in commission right throughout betting. Moa Man and Karamazoo also given hopes, and that win pool really starting to build up. Just repeating the conditions at Flemington today. Fine and good. The rail is out 2 metres. The penetrometer's 4.2. The inside penetrometer reading 4.27. The outside penetrometer reading is 4.31. Now, for our viewers on our Sky Channel service in pubs, clubs and TABs around the country, here's Greg Miles for race 1 at Flemington. And, of course, due to a
magnificent, huge crowd here, and they're ready to go. Oh, one getting through the front, Savage Attack. So there's the first upset for the day. Savage Attack has gone through the gates. He's pushed the gate open. The clerk of the course coming in to assist. And the rider's got him under control. He's only gone about 180 metres.
$17 on the tote. Savage Attack, TAB number 8. We'll be back to Flemington after this. Get into it. Get into get.
Your favourite? At $4.20. Veterinary surgeon having a look at Savage Attack now. He's got a weight drop from what he carried last start. He had plenty of weight down there at Geelong. He's got a little bit fizzed up. But physically, he doesn't look to have taken any harm. And they're going to place the horse in again. Savage Attack coming up again for the first on Derby Day, and they'll be set to run. Up he goes. He won't hold them for long. And they're ready. Lights are blinking. Signal off and running in the first for the day, and they came out in a pretty good line after the start here. And Palladium Star was going straight back with Zip Zip Array and Moa Man and Bacata first out. From Savage Attack, followed by I Rock My World. Getting up on the inside, to be fair. Tarcoola Midnight is going back from Salgado. Palladium Star the inside, 2 to Zip Zip Array, and last of all is Karamazoo. Along the side, and Moa Man took it up at the 1,000. He's nearly a length in front of Bacata. I Rock My World is 3 deep. To be fair is 4th the fence, 3/4 5th is Savage Attack. Tarcoola Midnight is deep around the outside of Palladium Star. 2 further back, Salgado, as they drop the speed in front. A few of these had to ease, and Karamazoo and Zip Zip Array back on the rail. Moa Man getting a fairly cheap lead at the 700-metre mark, a half Bacata. I Rock My World's had no luck, 3 out, a length and a half then, to be fair. Over on the inside there of Savage Attack from Tarcoola Midnight. Palladium Star back on the inside of Karamazoo. Then Salgado and Zip Zip Array. In the straight they race at the 450-metre mark, and it's Moa Man just off the fence, a half Bacata. The Boulder, to be fair, got up on the inside, a length further back than came I Rock My World. Palladium Star pushing up on the inside, to be fair, set the front at the 200-metre mark at any sort of odds. He raced 2 lengths in front. Tarcoola Midnight down the middle, but it's to be fair in front over on the inside from Tarcoola Midnight. Palladium Star after the leader, but the Boulder's going to get home. To be fair wins 2 lengths. Palladium Star, third home Tarcoola Midnight, then Salgado late for 4th. From Moa Man, further back Savage Attack. Zip Zip Array never came into it. Back behind those, I Rock My World from Karamazoo, and tailed off is Bacata, and this is going out at about $104.
Yeah, New South Wales for Graham Rogerson and Dan Nikolic, $101 the win, $19 for the place. A perfect 100 to 1 about the winner. Palladium Star at $1.90, Tarcoola Midnight at $7.60.
I think we might go home early. 10.39, 10.39 at $104. He gave it every chance back on the fence here, Nikolic. The leader Moa Man shifted out, and this Bolter, to Spy's rank outsider at $104, has got up on the inside, hit the front. And I must admit, I went for the race book. I thought this can't be to be fair, surely. $104. Home it's come from number 3, Palladium Star. He saved his ground and made his ground through the inside, got out in time. And third, number 9, Tarcoola Midnight. A few of them have gone very ordinarily here, particularly Salgado, and particularly the one they threw the money on, Zip Zip Array.
10.39, official 4th placing still to come. And doesn't that make It's Our Times chances in the last at Rosehill today look very, very good. It beat that winner at Flemington, to be fair, last start, and beat it easily. 10.39 at Flemington. Winner, to be fair, for Graham Rogerson and Dan Nikolic. $101 the win, $19 the place. 3 Palladium Star, $190. 9 Tarcoola Midnight at $7.60. Quinella, $272.50. Exacta, $733.80. The trifecta, 10.39. 6,162.80, and 7 ran 4th. Salgado officially 10.397 first 4. It has been one. Good luck to you. 22,839.50. 22,839.50. 10.397. Other news to come.
On 2KY and the Sky Racing Network.
Welcome to Sky Racing for a Saturday. It's Derby Day at Flemington, 9 races, all group events, and runners are just parading for the L'Oreal Paris Plate. Our live coverage today of racing from Rosehill, Doomben and Morfettville, and with Flemington today, although we are restricted from showing you a live coverage of the races, we'll be replaying all races from Flemington shortly after they've been run. And that second race is coming up shortly. But New Zealand is our next event, race 7, where runners are moving into line. New $4.90. Planche, our top rater. Blur, $6.30. Titanic Jack and El Capitan. Lee Friedman won this race last year. He's got 2 in it this year. El Capitan and that one. Cuzzy, number 9. Now let's head across to New Zealand for the 7th. And a Jack number 6 at $3.20 is the popular pick from the Tommy Hughes Jr. stable there at Flemington. Alf Matthews has the late mail on the L'Oreal Paris Plate.
Not a great deal of money for anything on course. Most runners, in fact, have shifted out in betting here. I've put number 4, Blur, on top. I thought he was the improving individual. Second up today, drawn nicely. I thought he could race just off the pace and get the prize. Number 6, Titanic Jack, did open up the on-course favourite, has in fact shifted out a little bit. You're not shopping very well on the tote at the moment. Again, does present very well under saddle in the mounting enclosure. Also number 7, El Capitan, no luck last start. There has been a little bit of support, then he shifted out again, and he's continued to shift again, very much shorter on the tote. But he didn't have any luck last start. Previous to that, 3 very good performances. Expect him to run well. And number 2, Planche, it is drawn okay to have a nice run. Down the straight for the first time. Expect it to run well. Cheeky chance. I put him in 4 ahead of 6, 7 and 2.
Yes, Alf was pretty keen on Blur on our inside running program this morning. Then again in the preview with Greg Miles. Andy's sticking after having a look at them in the mounting yard. The horse is holding up pretty well on the tote too at $6.20. Now, Alf Matthews and Andrew Bensley have been at track work for us for the latest information. And Alf speaks with Colin Little, the trainer of his tip, Blur.
Well, Colin, Blur resumed in brilliant fashion. Has he made headway since?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with him, Alf. He's a tough little horse. We really haven't had to do a lot with him, and he went down the straight on Tuesday, and no, he's a ball of muscle and jumping out of his skin.
Not an overly large field. Is that playing your hands?
I would have thought so. I would have thought he'd just get back a little bit, and can be a bit difficult down that straight. It's hard to know which side to go, but yeah, I'm happier with the smaller field.
And Colin, after today, presuming he wins, what do you do then?
Blue's had a bit of tough racing. He's only a 3-year-old. Been to 4 states before he was 3. We purposely gave him an easy spring, keep him to 1200, just a couple of runs. He'll have a little ease up, and then he'll go to the Magic Millions in the Gold Coast in January.
Good luck today.
Thanks very much, Al.
He's a nice horse, Blur, number 4, trained by Colin Little. But Titanic Jack remains the favourite number 6 as they make their way up the long straight at Flemington. This is the first of 2 races down the straight 6. The other one's a Group 1. That's the Salinger. Now, Andrew Bensley was also at the
Front court in the barrier stalls. Let's head to Brian.
Let's have a look in gate number 3. Is it El Capitan? Yes, El Capitan has quickly come away, and Wyndham Glory is going to be backed out of the gate. So El Capitan has also been released from the stalls. Schwarzer yet to come up, and Wyndham Glory has been taken away from the gates. Wyndham Glory, about $31 on the tote. His off front was caught up for a while. When he got up in the gates, I'm just loading the last couple, but he went up in the air and seemed to trap his offside front leg in gate number 2. Right off, Titanic Jack takes the weight off the horse, just leaning to the side. El Capitan goes up again into 3. Cool Trent in 4. Further out is Blur. Kuzi, Tycoon Ruler, they're ready. And Schwarzer's gone up to 9. We've got the Bacon Gate in gate number 2. Yes, they're going to take this one out. He was caught for a little while, and they're not going to take any risks with Wyndham Glory number 3. He'll be a late scratching. He's drawn barrier 2, but he got hooked up in the gates. And we're just waiting on the notification to come through. The late scratching is Wyndham Glory. I'm just waiting on the time. They're off and running. Anyway, Wyndham Glory is out. There is a late scratching. It's Wyndham Glory, and they bounce in a good line, and they're all coming to the flat here. And out in a good line too, Schwarzer and Planchette away quickly. Just behind those on settling down would have been Kuzi, Blur in behind them from El Capitan. Titanic Jack further in when they settle. Further back, Tycoon Ruler and Cool Trent last of all. At the 850 and hard on the outside fence, Schwarzer has taken it up. It's Schwarzer about a length and a half, Planchette from Kuzi. Further in then Blur from Titanic Jack. El Capitan behind those. Further back than Tycoon Ruler. And last of all, Cool Trent at the 600-metre mark. Schwarzer held together on the outside fence from Planchette. Further in is Kuzi with Blur 4 off the outside. Then further in was Titanic Jack. Back behind them, Tycoon Ruler, El Capitan, Cool Trent. They go to the 300-metre mark. Schwarzer under some pressure. Blur comes at him very quickly from Planchette back in the middle. Schwarzer is laying badly off the outside fence. He's come back again at Blur from Planchette. Wants to run straight in. Oh, he's knocked Blur over. He can't control this fellow, Schwarzer. He's all over the place. He'll go home and win by nearly 2 lengths. Planchet will get up and grab second, I'd say, in the photo from Blur. We're going to hear a lot more. He's all over the place, the winner. Cool Trent is fourth home. A gap in the race then to Titanic Jack, followed by Kuzi. Then came El Capitan and Tycoon Ruler.
And number 1, Choiseul, 361.50 Planchet to pay $2 for third. Number 4, Blur, and it's showing $2.
Number 1, Choiseul. They've run 18.7, and Choiseul gets it. Showed good speed, but when he let him down at about the 300, he just wanted to make a beeline in. Number 2 has got second, Planchet. And third in is number 4, and that's Blur. Blur was running up to really be in the race. And this horse, the head-on is going to be very, very telling here. As he moved, he just flattened Blur, took him out of the contest completely. And he's gone on to win, but he's given Blur no chance in the way that he's knocked this horse down. Planchet has split the winner and Blur. The margin is a reasonable one in favour of Choiseul, but the stewards will certainly be looking at this race. And as I say, here's the head-on now. He's about 3 out with about 150 to go. He then starts to drift 4 to 5 out. Blur's coming down in a straight line. Blur shies away and he just knocks Blur virtually off his feet, and he's finished up winning this race. Choiseul about 10 to 11 off the outside rail. He's had a shift of about 8 or 9 horses, and he basically has just taken Blur out of the contest. So the numbers over the line are 1, 2 and 4. Choiseul has won the race in running 18.7, but there'll be an inquiry without any doubt. Shannon Perry is the foreman for his dad. He's talking with Dave.
Thanks, Brian. Joined by Shannon. A lot of ability, Choiseul. He tends to do a fair bit wrong, though.
He does. Even the serious end of the race then, when Glenn gave him a backhander, he wanted to go in 4 or 5 horses, but he had the race well and truly won, and it was great to see him win one, because he's one horse that did deserve the win.
He, of course, ran very well in the Corvette Guineas 3 weeks ago. How hard was it to bring him back to the 1200? It shows he just had a pretty light workload the last 3 weeks.
Not really, no. He's a very good horse. He's probably the best horse I've had anything to do with in Dad's stable, and no, it makes the job very easy, and good horses like him can adapt to any kind of race situations.
Well, Churches, they stand 1, Choiseul, 361.50, 2 Planchet, $2, 4 Blur, $2, Quinella, $9, Exacta 13.31, 2, 4 Trifecta 71.40, and the first 4, 1, 2, 4 and 5, $388.50.
Tap dividends for Coolabah Pools and Spas Narellan for your new Voyager pool cleaner. For a free home demonstration, call 1-800-993-994.
If you've had an accident and your insurance company wants to take away your maximum no-claim bonus, don't just lodge a protest, give Amy a call. Because at Amy, they believe that once you've earned your maximum no-claim bonus through years of good driving, you deserve to keep it. So...
Now, I just saw a last 200 metres of the race. That's where he was very, very erratic. All right, so past the post, it's 1 Choiseul Glenboss, 2 Planchet Darren Gauchi, 4 Blur, ridden by Stephen King, and 4th was Cool Trent, ridden by Scott Seamer. So it's second and third versus first for alleged interference over the last 200 metres of the race, and it's going to be a most interesting hearing too, with that margin being considerable, but by the same token, the considerable carnage that the horse has caused. Let's have a look at that head-on vision once again. I'll point Choiseul out. He's in those maroon colours with the light blue cap. He's going straight at this stage. He's got his head to the side, but here he goes. He starts to get the staggers. Darren Gauchi in the cerise colours was the rider of Planchet, and that horse that got a real bump over on the inside, that was Blur, ridden by Stephen King. So all parties involved have been called into the steward's room, and Des Gleeson overseeing proceedings on a very big day at Flemington. So it's a double protest, second and third against first. We'll leave it there for the moment because we've got New Zealand coming up in a couple of minutes. It's played of 1200 and we'll have a replay shortly. But while they're racing in the second, let's show you a replay of the first race at Flemington today. It was the Yallambee Stud Stakes over 1400.
And 2, this is the Yallambee Stud, and they're racing. Mowerman jumping well on the inside and away fast with Savage Attack and Barcata. Immediately Palladium Star out the back with Karamazoo and also Zip Zip Array, who settled third last. Not a lot of speed about. Barcata had the lead narrowly to Mowerman with the rail. A length and a half then to in third placing over on the outside as I Rock My World. He's travelling wide. Getting through on his inside To Be Fair. Savage Attack easing back a length away, and then Tarcoola Midnight. Palladium Star a length and a half to Salgado. Being followed then by Zip Zip Array on the inside and Karamazoo. Nearing the turn, Mowerman at the 800 metres, leads by about a half length. It's Mowerman from Barcata, I Rock My World travelling wide. To Be Fair right behind them in the pink colours from Savage Attack, Tarcoola Midnight deep. Then Palladium Star, Karamazoo as they neared the corner. Salgado's next to last, and last of orders, Zip Zip Array. Mowerman at the 500, he balances for home, almost a length Barcata. I Rock My World wide out, in behind those To Be Fair going for a run on the inside. Palladium Star's held up, Zip Zip Array's following through along the inside, and Tarcoola Midnight with a run out wider, nearing the 200 metres now, and here To Be Fair with a run on the inside, at big odds hit the lead from Palladium Star. Tarcoola Midnight, the favourites are not in the hut. To Be Fair is well clear. To Be Fair from Palladium Star, and To Be Fair, Dan Nikolic beats Palladium Star. Tarcoola Midnight third, then Salgado and Mowerman, and they were followed just behind them by Savage Attack, followed by I Rock My World. Zip Zip Array never came into it. Karamazoo second last, and Barcata not racing well this time round. He's finished a distant last.
At any old price, all right. $104.60 To Be Fair won the first race at Flemington, trained by Graham Rogerson and ridden by Danny Nikolic. Palladium Star was second and Tarcoola Midnight was back in third spot. The time was 1:22.3 for the 1400. That was the first at Flemington, a real blowout for punters in the first on Derby Day. Now, correct weight New Zealand race 7, the Alaskan beat Nude Dude and Danza Man. The 1-2-6 trifecta was $63.90 on the 7th. Now let's look to the next race from New Zealand. One race, here's the replay.
Light flashes, race 2, they're away, and Planchet began fast, and they're going to come grandstand, a lot of them. Schwazier away there quickly, is heading to the outside rail in front. Kuzi just off the speed, and in behind those horses is Tycoon Ruler. Blur coming up the middle, El Capitan on his far side. Titanic Jack is the deepest, and Cool Trent settling back in the field. At the 800 metre mark, and Schwazier showing all his dashes, the leader on the outside rail. He's in front of Planchet in the bright pink colours. Tycoon Ruler's right behind them. Coogee deeper out, Blur coming up the middle, and Titanic Jack. El Capitan's in behind those horses, and so is Cool Trent. As they race down towards the 400 metre mark now, and Schwazier has company. Planchet's gone up to join him with Coogee. Blur 4 away from the rail, and Titanic Jack the widest is starting to come home, although he wants to roll about a bit. And then Cool Trent is getting over heels to mount his challenge, getting to the 200 metre mark. Schwazier had it narrowly, Blur's after him, and Planchet had to change courses. Schwazier starting to run off the track. Oh, he's hampered Blur badly. Schwazier in front of Blur and Planchet. Schwazier all over the track, but wins. Schwazier first, Planchet second, Blur third, Cool Trent fourth. We might hear more. Behind these are Coogee, Titanic Jack, wobbled all over the place. Then came El Capitan, and Tycoon Ruler is last to go over the line.
Here's the head-on. Schwazier is second from the outside at this stage in the light blue cap and the maroon colours. He's beaten the others by a big margin, but that's pretty severe interference that he's caused them. Carnage is probably a better word. Schwazier up to his old tricks and all over the place, as green as grass today. Anyway, he's won, and Glenn Boss is happy about it, but we'll just keep an ear out. It's an interesting one because the margin's considerable, but boy, he gave them a touch-up, Planchet and Blur. The Quinella 10.30, trifecta $100.80. Officially fourth was number 5, Cool Trent. The 1-2-4-5 first four, $388.50 on race number 2. So it would be a shame if he's finally won a race after all this time and they were to take it off him on protest. Anyway, we'll keep an ear out. Nothing at this stage.
He's going to go for the Academy Award. That was a pretty good performance, but I don't think my interference to Darren, I think it was quite minimal. And to say that he would have beaten me, I think the interference that when I come across Darren was well and truly inside the 200 metre mark. And I think I beat him a length 3/4 with it to him. Darren.
Length and a half?
Length and a half.
By a half a length.
I just doubt whether Darren would have made any significant improvements from where he was from that point.
Well, Stephen King, will you make a submission in half in respect of your objection?
Yes, sir. Well, after his last win at Caulfield, Colin and myself spoke about how we're going to ride this horse today, being at Flemington, and the possibility of the horses coming out wide, which they did. We came to the conclusion that we'd give the horse every possible chance early in the race, and the last 200 would make the best of his last 200. With this weight, we're always concerned that he wouldn't sprint, but he would grind away at him. At that stage, when I went up to Glen Boss was about 4 off me, out wide. I was about 4 horses inside Glen Boss. I'd only had the opportunity to give my horse 2 forehands, and I was just about to wind him up the last 200 when Glen Boss's horses started to roll in. At that stage, Glen Boss didn't stop riding. He's crossed my line completely. I've had to grab hold of my horse, severely checking. And as far as the winning margin's concerned, I don't think it would have been that great if I hadn't had the check. So I just felt that Glen Boss certainly cost me a winning opportunity when he's crossed my line.
Glen Boss, do you wish to question Stephen King?
Yeah, just when you say that I don't cost you a winning margin, what do you mean by that? Like you wouldn't have beat me home when you say that?
What I mean is I don't think when you look at the winning margin, the length and a half, I certainly don't think that would have been the margin.
So well, the margin between your mount and Glen Boss's was 2 lengths.
As I said, I mean, I don't think there would have been that margin if the check hadn't occurred. Now, depends on who wins. It's hard to say, but my horse was starting to wind up, as I said, and with that heavy weight, we always decided that we'd make the last 200 his best 200. And as I said, Glen Boss hadn't stopped riding, he's crossed my line, I've had to severely check and then get back into it, which you can't account on for that, because with that weight, he can't pick himself back up again.
Well, do you believe the interference cost you the race?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Glen Boss, any further questions of Stephen King?
No questions.
No? Mr. Hawkes, any questions of any of the riders or any submissions?
Do I comment on what he said?
Oh, sorry, yes. Yeah, make a submission, sorry. In respect of Stephen King, do you make a submission? Yes.
I believe Stephen King's interference. There's no doubt I've come out and balked Stephen King. The mistake I probably made, I stopped as I just got to him and virtually straightened up right in front of him. I believe that interference probably happened anywhere from the 70 to the 60 metre mark. I doubt whether, even though he said his horse got big weight, I've got more weight, and I had to stop my horse just as well and get going, but I don't believe within 50 metres he would have picked up and beat me. Made up a 2-length deficit within that short space of time. So I believe that there's no doubt I've caused some inconvenience to Stephen King's mount, but I don't believe it cost him the race.
Stephen King, do you wish to question Glen Boss on his submission?
As far as Glen's saying about correcting his mount, I think he'd already crossed me by the time he corrected it.
All right, well, is that a question or a statement?
Well, Glen said he didn't, but I just...
No, I told you I did correct you in front of you.
Darren Goucher, I didn't give you the opportunity of asking Glen Boss a question on his submission in respect of your objection. Do you wish to question him?
No, sir.
No. Mr. Hawkes, any questions or submissions?
Just like to make a couple of points, sir. I mean, if you watch the video, was a half, maybe 3-passing horse off the outside fence all the way. Even before the interference, the horse was continually drifting in. He'd already pushed our horse, made him sort of go in at least another horse and a half more than he should have, even before the original interference came along. We were a half a length behind him. By the time he'd crossed us, we've had to check, come around. In my opinion, it's definitely cost us the race, but the crucial boss has never stopped riding from the time, even before the interference started, when the horse started drifting to correct his mount, and for all the way to the post, never really stopped riding his horse at all. As soon as you see